Now, I would say all good things come to an end, but I'm not sure I can call this a good thing anymore. So there was a little bit of information that Kristen Ritter dropped talking about the new season of Jessica Jones, which as of the time that I'm recording this particular video is, I've seen the first 3 episodes of the 2nd season. And I'll probably have watched more by the time this video actually goes out. But she said that there probably isn't going to be another Defenders. And I would say at this point, it is looking a lot like the entire Marvel Netflix thing is just going to wrap up and get closed. And that's not excessively shocking because this wasn't something that Disney could just move over to its streaming service that it's starting up in a couple of years, because they don't, this was a co-production with Netflix itself. They would have to completely buy out Netflix's share of ownership of these things in order to be able to do anything with it. And it may not be worth it to them in the first place to go ahead and do that, but it also makes it so there isn't a lot of impetus for them to keep this going over on Netflix, because they are going to be having their own streaming service and they'll probably just start from scratch over there. And so, like I said, it's not a huge shock when you take all that into account. So I guess the first question is, okay, well, what if we're not getting another season of Defenders, what will we get? Well, we know we're getting season 3 of Daredevil. We should be getting a 2nd season of Luke Cage. Apparently, they're really going to do a 2nd season of Iron Fist. I don't know why, but for my money, that's it. We get season 3 of Daredevil, season 2 of Luke Cage, season 2 of Iron Fist. And unless there's a really high demand, that'll probably be it. Like maybe a movie to close out any dangling threads across the series that might be left at that point. That's slightly iffy, I think. But I think that's going to be it. Oh, Punisher. Will they may or may not have announced the 2nd season of Punisher. Put a maybe on that one. So, yeah, the whole thing, I think it's just going to wrap up. And speaking personally, I'm really kind of okay with that. The shine really came off these Netflix projects for me. Well, I think it came off firmly with the Defenders. But the decline started well before that. Because first there was Daredevil Season 2, which had a weak second half of the season. And then there was Luke Cage, which had a weak second half of the season. Then there was Iron Fist, which was just terrible. And then there was The Defenders, which started out fine and then went to utter crap by the time it was finished. And at this point, there are only 2 seasons of the stuff that's gone out so far that I genuinely enjoy. First season of Daredevil, first season of Jessica Jones. And as I said, I'm only 3 episodes into Jessica Jones Season 2 as of this recording, but I'm not loving it so far. And I'm not exceptionally hopeful that it's going to get better. So, under other circumstances, I might be bemoaning the fact that we'd be losing, you know, the harsher, ground level Marvel stuff that's over on Netflix. But at this point, I'm kind of not. That's not to say that I wouldn't appreciate something else coming in to fill that niche in some form, whether Disney allows for some harsher characters to take up in the form in movies. We probably won't get anything this harsh on the Disney streaming service because they've kind of indicated they don't want to do R-rated material on that. But I don't have a problem with this ending. This whole experiment. Again, I do hope something fills the niche because I do like the idea of harsher, gritty, ground level stuff, but this particular Netflix-averse, the diminishing returns, that happened in hindsight relatively quickly. And at this point, if I hadn't already loved the first season of Jessica Jones, I would be tempted to not watch any more of the second season. If the second season was the first season, I might stop. where I am right now. So the whole thing, honestly, I'm not entirely sure what went wrong. If I were to guess, I think somewhere along the line, somebody thought that their big hook-ins were going to be sort of mystery elements, you know, big mysterious organizations like the Hand, like wherever Luke Cage got his powers from, whoever caused Jessica Jones to get her powers. Except all this stuff has been massively uninteresting every time they've gone into it. The Hand especially, where they've sunk a heck of a lot of time in. And, you know, I think is where with the movies they decided Thanos was going to be sort of the connective villain tissue to some degree across a lot of the films. I think they decided that these shadowy organizations were going to be the villain connective tissue for the Netflix shows, and that just has not panned out. And honestly, the more I think about it, I'm not sure evil corporations and corporate entities and these sorts of shadowy organizations actually work particularly well, like just in general as narrative devices, because it's like, oh, you don't know what they're capable of, like, but then by the time you show me, it's pretty run-of-the-mill. It's either pretty run-of-the-mill or pretty basic, or you try and keep it mysterious the whole time, and then I'm just frustrated going, what? Somehow the Hand managed to do both. I don't even know. So yeah, I would not be shocked if within a year we get an announcement of the ending of the Marvel Netflix franchises, and whether those shows specifically, I do not expect to continue. Obviously, Marvel has the rights to the characters still, so exactly how... I would imagine they couldn't continue those specific shows without involving Netflix in them, but I would not hold my breath for new shows featuring these characters, or for them to suddenly start turning up in the movies. It's possible. I would be really, really surprised, though. So I think we all need to make peace with the fact that we will soon be saying goodbye to Matt Murdock, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Danny Rand, and Frank Castle. And yeah, that's kind of a shame, but only for me, at least on paper, because this ultimately didn't become what it started out as and what I think it could have been. So what are your thoughts on the possibility of Marvel Netflix shows just coming to a close? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? What shows are you gonna miss? What do you hope that they do before things close out? Do you think I'm nuts and this is actually gonna keep going? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. There's all the stuff to do, like support me on Patreon and follow me on Twitter, listen to my podcast, buy a t-shirt. Links for all this stuff is down in the description. So until next time, this council is adjourned.